First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. We will be talking with Katherine Wells, who is the founder of the Wells Petroglyph Preserve and the Mesa Prieta Petroglyph Project, about her book, Life on the Rocks. I'm imagining that a lot of people have read this book and will have a lot of questions. Please feel free to put your questions in the comments below, and Katherine is online now and will answer your questions in the comments as well. You can find out about our future events by following us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, through our website, or sign up for our newsletter on our website. We do host a monthly lecture and also a monthly chat with our archaeologist. So, hi, Katherine.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be doing this. It's kind of a treat to get to talk about what we've done and where we are and why we're doing it and all those things. I appreciate it.
So, Katherine, where would you like to start?
Well, let's see. There's always the beginning, but it's too traditional. I'll just talk about how uninformed I was when I came here. Of course, I had this lovely fantasy about living a nice, calm, invigorating life on the mesa, and what I got was not at all what I expected. In some ways, it was vastly more than I expected. In other ways, it was vastly different and difficult and more taxing than I expected.
So, yourself and Lloyd, you left California, you drove across the country, ended up on this mesa. I'm wondering how that happened and what you were looking for.
Well, part of the vision that I had was living someplace that there weren't as many people as there were in California. I really got tired of the traffic and just the whole ball of wax of living in such a populated area. And as an artist, I wanted to live near Santa Fe so that I could hopefully sell my work there and show my work there. So that was part of the impetus for coming here. Lloyd and I both wanted to get out of Dodge, so to speak. We had enough of California, and we both liked northern New Mexico, and so we chose it as a place to pack up and come to.
So, when you saw the property on the mesa, what did you think of it? Did you know right away that this was the place? This is what you're looking for?
Oh man, it was like a magnet for me because I was already a petroglyph junkie, and when I saw that it had petroglyphs, I was really, really wanting to buy it, even though Lloyd was kind of like another piece of property that we saw better. But it was way, way far from any civilization point. So he liked the piece, not for the petroglyphs, but just because it's a beautiful piece of property. And it had a gorgeous view of the Sagrada de Cristos, and it had the river right there, and was appealing in many ways.
So, I've heard you say before that when you first visited with a real estate agent, you parked here right where your house is, and you saw a boulder above where your house is now with images on it, and that it really spoke to you.
Oh, absolutely. I got out of the car and ran up to that boulder in about 10 seconds. And I was just absolutely dumbstruck with what an amazing panel it was. And I thought, wow, if this area has things like this is a place for me. I want to be here and try to take care of these images and enjoy them and try to learn from them.
Did the agent let you know what you were going to see? When you arrived on the Mesa, were you prepared to see so many petroglyphs, and did people value them?
She had said there were some petroglyphs, and I thought she probably meant, a couple marks on a rock. I had no idea whatsoever. I mean, I would have thought it was amazing if there were 20 petroglyphs, but the fact that it turned out to have first hundreds and then thousands and then tens of thousands was just so amazing to me that I thought either the government or the Indians owned all the petroglyphs. I could not imagine that you could buy them wholesale, which is what I did. And they didn't seem to add any value monetarily to the property. They were kind of free. And I thought that was the most astonishing thing I ever heard.
Because you saw the value in them.
Oh yeah, I knew they were priceless.
So I used to live in Velarde, and I knew that there were petroglyphs on the Mesa, and I know that I hiked in areas that are now part of the preserve. Later, I started college, and during my coursework, I actually came across a book that your home was featured in.
Oh yeah, that book.
So it's interesting now. I've sort of come full circle and am involved with the project. But you've written other books. I was looking at photos earlier today. You've built 3 straw bale structures once you moved to the Mesa. Is it right that you first lived in an Airstream?
It wasn't an Airstream, it was a Silver Streak, which was kind of an imitation of an Airstream. But it was very nice, nice trailer.
So did you live in the trailer the whole time you were building?
No, we lived in it while we built the studio, and the next winter when we were still working on the studio, it was so hard to live in the trailer. It was a kind of small trailer, and to live in it with another human being got to be kind of taxing, and I could see that it was not going to work out very well if we had to live in a trailer a second winter. So we figured out a plan whereby I would be responsible for getting a small house built down the road a little ways that we could live in while we got up our wherewithal to build the dream house. Well, I didn't have any place to make art until we got the studio finished. And then it was a wonderful place to make art, but I didn't have a lot of time because we were building another small house and then eventually the dream house and doing petroglyph stuff. The second, okay, we got there in June, and the next June, the New Mexico Rock Art Field School, which was run by Jay and Helen Crotty, what they did was to go around to different sites, petroglyph sites in New Mexico, and record them. And they had just finished recording Three Rivers down in the Alamogordo area or wherever it is. And they were looking for a new site. And they were thrilled to have a site that was not quite as hot as Three Rivers and had better access to amenities like campgrounds and swimming pools and not swimming pools, but the river to swim in. So they were lovely. They were very happy to come here And they thought it would take 2 summers. What they did was they would go to a site and bring 30 volunteers and spend 2 weeks each summer in either June or July. And they thought it would probably take about 2 summers to finish the preserve. But it ended up taking a little bit more, and they had kind of a half of a week later that they finished up. But for 2 weeks for each of 2 years, we had 30 volunteers here who were trained and then sent out to record petroglyphs. And it was such a stroke of luck to have that because it was something I never could have done on my own. And it would have been hard to, would have had to learn how to do it on my own and round up other people to help. And it sort of taken a whole lot longer to do it otherwise. And it was really fortuitous because it made it possible for me to get the site on the National Register of Historic Properties and the New Mexico registered cultural sites. So that was quite an experience. And I learned how to record petroglyphs. And so then when we came to organize a project to record the whole mesa, we had some idea of what we're doing.
I had always heard that rock art was not a very respected field in early archaeology.
Yeah, it was real mystery to me that petroglyphs were not considered among the most important gifts that the Native American people have left. But in the archaeology world, to be important, you had to be a dirt archaeologist, meaning you dug up buildings and studied buildings and things like that. And I thought that was much less interesting in terms of what the people were about, what they were trying to say.
And I wondered what your thoughts were about
But about the time I came here, the country started to develop quite a lot of interest in it. And Polly Schaafsma had already written a few books about the petroglyphs in New Mexico and Utah and the Southwest in general. So there was that information, but there wasn't a lot more. And I wanted information specifically about this area, and there really wasn't any. So I had to kind of get a little piece here and a little piece there, and finally get a semblance of a story together about what was here and why it was here and who did it and all that.
I've always thought there was a certain amount of naivete in the early part of the project. One of the goals is to record everything on the mesa, all 36 square miles. Did you bite off more than you can chew?
Oh, man. I bit off more than a whole lot of people could chew together. But, it seemed like a good idea at the time. The project didn't work. Well, yeah, it did turn out to be a good idea, but it was an expensive idea in terms of energy and resources and things like that. But the project itself didn't start until 1999. Until that time, I was, getting to know different people and trying to figure out what to do, how this might be done. And of course, I was building houses and things like that at the time as well, and doing arts on. So in 1999, I had joined together with a group of people down the road who were fighting gravel mining in the area. And so I got to know those people, and I kind of steered them in the direction of the petroglyphs. And so after we kind of slowed down on one particular fight about gravel, we decided to focus on petroglyphs for a while and see what happened. And so I got the site on the National Register of Historic Places and called in all the people that I had met in 1999 to have a meeting to see if there was enough interest in the archaeology community and friends of the archaeology community to really have a project. And I was surprised how many people came and who came. Some of the most important archaeologists, people in archaeology in New Mexico came. And so that said to me, well, this is an important site and we really do need to pay attention to it and figure out how to preserve it and how to record it and all those things.
So that is an incredible amount of grassroots organizing. I try and imagine what it was like to be you at that time, and it seems like it might have been daunting, or you must have felt a little like lonely sometimes. And I'm wondering, did anyone come along in the early years that really inspired you to continue, or gave you courage and support?
Yeah, it was really wonderful. There were, so when it came, only a few really hardcore petroglyph buffs and a few archaeologists knew or had any idea what was here. And none of them, as it turns out, had any real idea what was here. But they knew that there was a lot and that it was an important site. And people like Dr. Richard Ford and Dr. Kurt Anschutz and Paul Williams, who was the BLM archaeologist in Taos at the time, and Herman Agoyo from Okewenge, and people like that came and really did encourage us to do what we could to record this and start working toward long-term preservation because they understood its value to New Mexico.
So hindsight being 2020, I'm wondering if there's anything looking back that you wish you would have done differently. With your experience that you have now, you were learning as you went. Do you have any regrets?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, so the project starts and we're on our own and we really don't know what the hell we're doing. We just start making it up as we go along and figuring it out. So here's A, now where is B? And how do we get to C? And just kept trying to do whatever seemed the best idea to get to the next level. But one of the things that I really wish I had done differently was we had a woman at that time who was being very generous to the project, and she was generous for several years. And we used the money that we got from her to build the programs. And we needed the programs, so that was good. But if I had to do over again, I would have taken that money and found the best fundraiser I could find who could continually raise the money for the project. And then we could build our programs. At the time, it didn't occur to me to do that. And so it's always been hard, forever to raise the money that we need to.
Well, it seems like your focus at the time must have been, just elevating public awareness of the site and educating people on the importance of cultural heritage. You would have needed to do that just to get off the ground.
Yeah, we obviously we obviously had to educate people, and we didn't have a big tour system at the beginning like we have now. We just had 4 tours that were open to the public every year, and then the occasional private tour for um, different people. But but the way we grew um, kept earning us some money, but not really enough money. So we were forever scratching around trying to figure out, how possible to get this grant. Um, is there any chance of getting that donor to get a large amount and so forth?
It's sort of a double-edged sword, isn't it? We work to elevate our profile and increase awareness, but at the same time protect the site.
Yes, we do. In the early years, we because it was just our little group protecting it, we kept it really low profile and tried to not have people know where the site was. And we still do that to some degree. But we finally, a few years ago, figured out that if we really wanted to get serious about long-term preservation, if we were going to get people to help us get there by supporting us financially and in other ways, more people were going to have to know about it. So, as you know, we developed a much larger tour program and started doing other things that would educate more people about, like we have a lecture series that helps, and we publish things now and then. So now we're on this other path, but we still have the problem of protecting the site.
So you built your dream house, made art, launched an historic site, and launched a not-for-profit. I'm just imagining there were personal sacrifices for you and wondering if you can share them.
For a few years, well, until about 2010, I was able to do art and project somehow and build houses. And well, we moved into the dream house in 1998. So between then and 2010, I did a lot of art and the project. But around 2010, the project started to get much bigger and more complex. And there was just so much that had to be done all the time to keep the ball rolling. And I kept saying to myself, okay, next month I'm going to get back in the studio. And next month I'm going to get back in the studio. And then it was next year I'm going to get back in the studio. And so it was a gradual process of convincing myself I was going to get back, but not getting back because the project was so overwhelming. We never had enough help or enough money to hire the kind of help we needed to do the things that I did. And so since 2011 or somewhere around there, I really haven't worked in the studio very much at all. And I hate it. I just hate it. But I have 2 babies, and they both cry all the time. And
So the petroglyphs cried the loudest.
oh, yeah, it did. The Petroglyph Project cried louder because there were other people involved. I had to do things, I couldn't put off things the way I could put off the studio because only I was, making that happen. But so anyway, I just got so buried by the project that I didn't get back to it, and I hate it.
I wish you could continue making your art. I really love it.
I'm sure I could too. And I'm hoping to spend a little bit of time in there shortly, since we're having a strange downtime here.
The Wells Petroglyph Preserve is an amazing legacy. Looking forward, what would you like to see happen in the future on Mesa Prieta?
Well, as you know, for several years, I've been pretty intent on the idea of it becoming a national monument somewhere down the line. But not just the preserve, other hopefully other large pieces of property around the preserve. It's a very big mesa, and we now have recorded so much that we know that there is just a huge number of petroglyphs everywhere on the mesa. And we recorded 60,000 by now, so we know that it's a really huge site, and we think it probably has about 100,000 images on it. And because several different cultures are represented in the Mesa, especially the Native American culture and the Hispanic culture, which makes up the population in the area. We think this site really needs to be honored and protected and visited and understood by New Mexico in general and the United States as well, because it's a really, really valuable historical resource. And there are many, many lesser things than this that are national monuments already. But politically, right now, it's not the time. And I'm hoping that the time will come. But I'm getting old, and so more and more I wonder if I'm going to be around if and when that happens. But it really needs to happen.
So, you've built 3 structures. You're in your dream house. I can see it behind you. You and Lloyd decided to build for what the time was a very novel building technique. And I'm wondering what it was like.
Crazy. No, it really was nutty to, I built a dollhouse once when I was 8 or something, but I hadn't built anything since then, and certainly not anything that was real. But we both read what we could find about Straw Bale building, which wasn't much at the time because it was a pretty new idea. But it seemed like it would be fairly low tech and fairly forgiving. That if something went wrong, you could maybe redo it more easily than if you were working with another kind of material. So we decided, what's the great? Let's do it.
So, of the 3 structures, was each one built the same, or were you learning and adapting as you went?
Yeah, the process is kind of the same, no matter what you're building. But we got the techniques down. But the studio building and the first little house were both pretty simple. The dream house turned out to be a lot more complicated and complex and a lot bigger. So there were some new challenges in building them.
You're in your dream house.
I am. I know. And you can see the beautiful mud plaster on the walls. That's one of the really outstanding features of the house.
Did Lloyd do the plaster work?
He, well, traditionally the women do it with their hands, but I didn't want to do that. And we had a guy on the crew who was a really good plasterer. He hadn't done Straw Bale, but he had done, adobe and stick houses. But what we did was he would go along and put on the plaster, and Lloyd would come along behind him with a trowel and smooth it out. And Lloyd was an absolute artist for the trowel. So it was very smooth, and the corners were just perfect, and it was so pretty when it dried, you just wanted to touch it. And so, anyway, so we put on one coat that way, and then the second coat actually was the same way. We I can't remember what the guy's name was, but Nicholas, I think. Anyway, he put on the plaster, but then Lloyd came behind him and made the plaster absolutely beautiful.
Can you share your feelings about the term rock art?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that a little bit. Okay, so there is the term petroglyphs, and there are terms like rock images and rock drawings. The most common term used to refer to the images that people make on rocks is rock art. But I've always had a hard time with that term, because when people in Western culture think of art, they think of something like the Mona Lisa, or the sculpture of Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci, or the wonderful engravings of Albert Dürer, things like that. And those things that fit into that category were done for much different reasons than the petroglyphs left on boulders by Native Americans over hundreds and thousands of years of their history in the Americas. And so it bothers me to call it art, because their attempt was not to make something pleasant and beautiful to be displayed. They were trying to communicate something to someone or some entity. And for the most part, many of them are beautifully done, very artfully done, but at the same time, that's not what it's about. Because a lot of them are very, I won't say poorly done, but they were not skilled, not very talented people at rendering images. But that was not the point. That's not what it was about. It was about communicating with spirits, or with perhaps other people, or expressing an idea that needed to be expressed, like, hey, it's really dry, we really need rain. So let's make an image that might help promote that. They were made for totally different reasons. And so for that reason, I really don't like to call them art.
You prefer the term petroglyph?
I try to use petroglyphs rather than rock art everywhere. It's hard.
I love your art. I find it irreverent and funny, and I wonder if you can tell us what is important for you to convey through your art.
Well, no, there is. It's very hard for me to not put messages in what I do. first it has to be right aesthetically, and it has to be well crafted. But most of my ideas and feelings that I want to get into my work um, have to do with the world as it is, which a good part of my life has been kind of a mess. And so I can't quite keep myself from commenting on those things. Um, I, I, for many, many years, was attracted to using bones in my work. And then later, I started using circuit boards in my work. Sometimes use bones and circuit boards together, which is maybe unique to me. But I often say things in my work that's a little bit hard for people to look at. I say things that they don't really want to listen to, but I often put in a little humor because that makes it easier for people to look at the message. So that's what I've done for a very long time, and it helps me stay sane. It helps me stay on the planet to have this kind of expression that that helps me work through and with the difficulties I find in the world. And I've been a very long time, I've been aware of what we humans have done to the planet. And so I'm compulsive about making art that addresses those issues.
So, is there any particular work that you did that was controversial or perceived by others in a negative way?
Oh, absolutely. When I first came to New Mexico, um, I was really upset with the world because Bosnia was going on, and Rwanda, whole genetic groups of people were being destroyed. And um, in my own, in the town nearest to me, young men were shooting their girlfriends on a regular basis. And there was just a lot of terrible violence. And I needed some way to express my angst about all that. And I was aware of Our Lady of Guadalupe the years I lived in California, and I've been to Mexico several times, but I didn't really know a lot about her. But when I came here, I got to know more about her and realized that she could be a vehicle for me to express some of my ideas. And I worried at first about not being a Catholic, but she actually appeared in the world before, after Martin Luther changed the Christian world entirely. And so she is Protestant as well as Catholic, actually. And so I decided that I would use her very respectfully, but not in traditional ways. And I thought maybe not doing traditional images of her would make it more palatable to people. And the opposite turned out to be true. People got upset when I altered her. And so I ended up getting in some kind of political trouble along with other artists in Santa Fe for a few years for using her in non-traditional ways. But I made...
Those are some of my favorite pieces of art.
Well, she's a wonderful image to work with. I probably made at least 30 pieces using her image.
So, Katherine, you were an author prior to writing Life on the Rocks. What else have you written?
I've written for a while. Way back when I wrote articles about river rafting and bicycle riding, which I was doing seriously for quite a long time. And got a bunch of those published. And then I wrote a novel that's in a box somewhere. And I've always written, like ever since the project started, I've written lots of stuff for the project. Over the years, a lot.
Katherine, I imagine all of this work has been a real labor of love, and I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about what you've gained through this process and what you've lost.
Well, I've gained a huge amount. I've gained a lot of wonderful friends. Um, I've gained a lot of skills I didn't have before. I've gained a sense of place and love of place that I never had before. I was never really very attached to anywhere I lived before. Certainly not like I'm attached to here. Um, this is home, and and it's dearer to me by far than any place else I've ever lived. Um, I it has taken from me a whole lot. Um, it took my energy, huge, huge amounts of energy over practically from the beginning. Um, and I think it's aged me in ways that I might not have aged otherwise. Um, it's put me through a lot that I really would have been perfectly happy not to experience. But on the other hand, um, I feel very honored to have been able to do this in my life. It's something that I think matters and will matter in the future. It's been a long haul.
Katherine, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate all you've done to protect this important place, and want to thank you for giving the audience the opportunity to hear your story.
Thank you for asking me to.
We will be doing more of these talks, hopefully, in the future.
Yeah, next time I could sing.
Well, what's stopping you?
Well, you're such a good singer. I only sing funny old camp songs.
Okay, so that's an idea. Next time it's camp songs with Katherine.
My favorite is called "My Father Shot a Kangaroo."
Well, that's a song that's not from around here.
No, thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks again, Katherine.